This is Top Accolade Global News Update. I am Abiodun Mohammed. Ukraine's defense minister is expected in Paris on Tuesday to meet President Emmanuel Macron amid a debate among Kiev's allies over whether to provide fighter jets for its war against Russia after US President Joe Biden ruled out giving F-16s. Ukraine planned to push for Western fourth-generation fighters like F-16s after securing supplies of main battle tanks last week, an advisor to Defense Minister Oleksiy Reznikov said on Friday. Asked at the White House on Monday if the United States would provide F-16s, Biden told reporters no, but France and Poland appear to be willing to entertain any such request from Ukraine, with Macron telling reporters in The Hague on Monday that by definition, nothing is excluded when it comes to military assistance. In remarks telecast on French television before Biden spoke in Washington, Macron stressed any such move would depend on several factors, including the need to avoid escalation and assurances that the aircraft would not touch Russian soil. He said Reznikov would also meet his French counterpart Sébastien Lecornu in Paris on Tuesday. In Poland on Monday, Prime Minister Mateusz Morawiecki also did not rule out a possible supply of F-16s to neighboring Ukraine in response to a question from a reporter before Biden spoke. A rescue and recovery operation has ended in Pakistan after a suicide bombing at a mosque in the northwestern city of Peshawar killed at least 95 people, most of them police officials. Kashif Aftab Abbasi, senior superintendent of police operations in Peshawar, told Top Accolade News on Tuesday that more than 225 people were also injured in the blast a day earlier. 52 wounded people remained in hospital, with 6 in a critical condition. Muhammad Asim, a spokesperson for the Lady Reading Hospital in Peshawar, told newsmen the vast majority of those killed were police officers. He said the suicide bombing caused the roof of the mosque to collapse and rescuers had to remove mounds of debris to recover many of the bodies, authorities said. Reporters in Peshawar said the operation had largely shifted to recovery. Meanwhile, questions have grown over how the attacker was able to access the heavily fortified area, which includes the headquarters of the provincial police force and a counter-terrorism department, while wearing a suicide vest. That followed credible intelligence reports on January 21st that Tehreek-e-Taliban Pakistan (TTP) planned a wave of attacks in Peshawar and the wider Khyber Pakhtunkhwa province. A second nationwide strike disrupted French electricity production, public transport and schools on Tuesday in a backlash against the government's plans to make people work longer before retirement. Unions which have scheduled protest rallies across France throughout the day want to keep the pressure on the government and hope to repeat the large turnout for the first national day of protest on January 19th. That day, more than 1 million people marched in opposition to pushing the retirement age to 64 from 62 and accelerating a planned delay in the age eligible for a full pension. Only about 1 in 3 high-speed TGV trains ran on Tuesday and even fewer local and regional trains, while the Paris Metro was seriously disrupted. Half of primary school teachers will walk off the job, their union said, while all refinery staff and workers across other sectors, including public broadcasters, which played music instead of news programs, also went on strike. French power supply was down by 4.4% or 2.9 gigawatts as workers at nuclear reactors and thermal plants joined the strike, data from utility group EDF showed. The number of endangered rhinos poached in Namibia reached an all-time high last year after 87 animals were killed compared with 45 in 2021, official government data has shown. Africa's rhino population has been decimated over the decades to feed the demand for rhino horn, which despite being made of the same material as rhino hair and fingernails is prized in East Asia as a supposed medicine and as jewelry. On Monday, Ministry of Environment, Forestry and Tourism spokesperson Romeo Muyunda said poachers killed 61 black and 26 white rhinos, mainly in Namibia's largest park, Etosha, where 46 rhinos were found dead. The southern African country is home to the only free-roaming black rhinos left in the world and also accounts for a third of the world's remaining black rhinos. Rhino poaching has plagued southern Africa for decades, especially in neighboring South Africa and Botswana, leading to anti-poaching programs including strict policing and dehorning or removing horns from the rhinos as a way of discouraging poaching. Namibia is also home to the second largest white rhino population in the world after South Africa. Australia's Nuclear Safety Agency said on Tuesday it had joined the hunt for a tiny radioactive capsule missing somewhere in the outback, sending a team with specialized car-mounted and portable detection equipment. Authorities have now been on a week-long search for the capsule, which is believed to have fallen from a truck that had traveled some 1,400 kilometers in Western Australia. The loss triggered a radiation alert for large parts of the vast state. The capsule, part of a gauge used to measure the density of iron ore feed, had been entrusted by Rio Tinto Limited to a specialist contractor to transport. Rio apologized on Monday for the loss, which happened sometime in the past 2 weeks. The Australian Radiation Protection and Nuclear Safety Agency said it was working with the Western Australian government to locate the capsule. It added that the Australian Nuclear Science and Technology Organization has also sent radiation services specialists as well as detection and imaging equipment. That is the size of top accurate global news updates. You can follow us on our social media platforms as displayed on your screen. Happy Tuesday.